Hi, I'm Lance. I'm the Dahlia Guy. Thank you for your comments on the website. Tonight we're going to be answering a question that was sent to me. The question was, I purchased some plants, some dahlias, at a store, and I went to divide them, and I couldn't figure out how to do it because things did not look how they looked in your video. And so we're going to talk about that today, and then I'm going to show you what I might do. A lot of the plants that you buy in the store have been started from what is called cuttings. And what they'll do is they'll use a product like that's called Oasis. And there's a special tray that it goes in, and you grow a plant and you cut a part off, and I'll have another video on that. And you root it in Oasis, and then this is then planted into the ground. And when you're all done, you get a plant that looks just like a regular dahlia plant, but when you dig it up, you may find something below the surface of the ground that you weren't expecting. As an example, this is what you might find when you dig up one of your regular dahlia plants that has been grown from a tuber. As you can see, this was the original tuber, and there's my stock number on it. Oftentimes this tuber will have rotted away. On this plant it didn't, but this is what most people think of when they dig up their dahlias. When you dig up a plant that's been started from a cutting, you might end up with something like this. Now, first off, before you around the time of the first frost or something, make sure you mark all of your plants, and using surveyor's tape and a permanent pen. Sharpies are not permanent, they do fade. I use a particular one that's called garden marker. I get this from a wholesaler, and it does not fade, it is permanent. And so you mark that and you tie those onto your plants, and then that way you can tell what's what. Well, as you dig up your plants, and these are all from the exact same variety, started from the exact same plant, and you'll notice that all of these having been grown from Oasis, you get this one actually has tubers, and these other three do not. All they have is these root masses. Some people would refer to this as pot roots that are here. Now, before I do any dividing or anything like that, I want to make sure that I always wear a glove. This has stainless steel woven in it, and it saves my hands from getting cut and snipped and things like that. So, and you can buy this at a good fishing store. They sell it where you buy the fillet knives and things like that. So let's take a look at this regular looking tuber mass. And if you look closely, right here, there is a little bit of the Oasis that's left. Most of it has dissolved and has gone away over the summer, but there's just a little bit there, so you know that this was grown from Oasis. And I'll just remove that. You don't have to. And after it has frosted, look at this. It's already started to try to grow again. But that's okay, because I'll have this out in the garage where it's nice and cold. But you'll look that there are a few ways that there are some tubers here that we'll be able to use, and there are some spots where it has already started to grow, like you can see right here and right here. There's plenty of growth eyes that are there. So anyhow, in dividing this one, again, what we'll start with is by taking off a lot of these little feeder roots. So we're just going to snip away and clean this thing up. And just remember that as you're doing this, there really is no right or wrong way to do it. Everybody's going to have a different style or method of how to take care of your tubers. I just like to get everything all cleaned off in a nice manner before I put things away for the winter and store them. Now, I'm going to trim off this stem because I don't want to have that much stem left. And on a pot root or pot tuber like this, on this particular one, I'm going to probably only try to get two salvageable ones. These are not things I will sell. And I'm going to split this stem right down the center and leave half of this crown of this of where the tubers are here on one side and half on the other, and there will be plenty of growth eyes that you'll be able to use there. If you really wanted to, you could salvage this one off to the side over here and try to pick up enough of this stem, but that's not hooked on in a very big way, so I'm not going to take a chance at that. So I'm just going to cut it right down the center right there with my bigger snips, and we will get a couple of different tubers that we'll be able to plant next year. And we'll just go like that. And so that's what we would have, and there will be plenty of little spots on here where there will be where it will grow in the spring when we plant that. So make sure you identify these. This particular one for us, it is a dye called Kelvin Floodlight. Our stock number, I mark right on the tuber. There's that one. And there's that one. Now let's take a look at these pot roots that just don't look, it's like, what in the world do you do with that? Well, it's really simple. I'm going to cut it like that. And I'm not even going to trim that off. That's not too unruly. And I will wrap that up. And you can actually see, if you look real closely, there's still some oasis that's left in it that's right here, and that doesn't hurt anything. But again, you can see that that little stuff right there is the oasis. That was the rooting compound that was used when this plant was started. So anyhow, I will store that with the rest of my tubers, and that will actually grow next year, and that will make a full-grown plant, and it will have regular-looking tubers next year. Again, I'm going to do the same thing with this, but some of these are a little bit on the longer side, so I'm just going to trim those back. Just like that. And then I'm going to cut that up just right about there. And then I will store that, and that will be all set for next year. And then I'll do the same thing with this one. I'm going to trim these back just a little bit. And then that's ready to go. And these can be stored in a damp cedar sawdust, and those will stay real hydrated and everything, and those will be just fine for next year. So that is how you go about dividing tubers that you buy at a store or that you have grown yourself from cuttings. And it's a little bit different, but don't worry about it. Just cut right in and everything will be fine. I had to go to an expert the first time I tried it, and he showed me what to do. And so hopefully this will help you as you move into the dealing with cuttings and trying to divide them after their first growing season. Well, I'm Lance, and I'm the Dahlia Guy. I've got a lot more tubers to divide. So have a good evening. Bye-bye.